Hello there. Once again, this is Anton from Anton Bay. Welcome back to the collection room. Today I am looking at some pretty obscure comics. Now you guys know, if anybody's followed this channel for long, I touch on some popular stuff. But most of the time I'm pretty far out in the weeds, and I like it there. So I like the obscure books, I like the rare books, I like books that maybe didn't find their following in their time. And this is one that, this one's out there. This is Ex-Mutants, which maybe you've heard of. I first discovered it from the Sega Genesis video game in the late 90s. And the game was okay, but basically, and it was the polished version of the Ex-Mutants. See, the Ex-Mutants were invented, they came around, and they were in the early to mid 80s. And they were first published from, and this is just from what I can tell, by publishing dates. The earliest stuff I can find is by Amazing Comics in 1986, I believe. 86. Later, they were done by Pied Piper Comics in 1987. And then finally in 1988, Eternity was picking them up and publishing them regularly. And Eternity was kind of their big break as far as like mass distribution. And they got a lot of variant titles. And then they got bought by Malibu and they were being published there. The Malibu version of them is probably the one most people know the best. However, this is one of the earliest incarnations. Now, if you've played the game and if you think you're familiar with any of the characters, none of those characters exist in the early issues because they all die. Big spoiler, this team here doesn't last very long. And the other part of it is, the premise is that the whole world has been mutated and a robot has remade these humans and cleaned them of all mutations, of all these things, and basically made new humans. So these are the only humans on the world. Everybody else is a hideous, terrible mutant. And in the original book, in the original story, there is one dude and 4 girls, and that's kind of for a reason. The idea being that they would repopulate. So that is an element that is constantly brought up, is when are we going to get to repopulating? That's kind of why we were grown this way and kind of why we were brought up this way. Now that doesn't happen, and this team does not last, of course. Now these are black and white, and even though they're black and white, you can see this art is top-notch. It's not, I don't know, it's not like what you would see from Marvel or from AC Comics even. It's definitely its own individual, very 80s style. Like this style just looks right in the 80s, but I can't imagine it in any other time frame. And this is a definitely post-apocalypse world. In the Malibu stuff, there is quite a bit of humor and they kind of joke it up a little bit. I think because, well, otherwise it's some very, very grim material, to be honest. And I don't know that they really do much to splice it up with some fun time in the old versions. Certainly not in the Amazing Comics version. It's not until, I think by the time it gets to Eternity, you start to see a lot more lighthearted stuff taking place. But pretty sure with Pied Piper and Amazing, it stays pretty grim. So there's evil mutants that, of course, don't want humanity to come back or to rise again. And they just want to keep the world mutated because there's power in that. But I don't know, it's weird stuff. But it starts with Ex-Mutants, then it goes to a title called The New Humans. And they kind of branch out from that. And then once it hits Eternity, they get books like Wild Nights and the Shattered Earth Chronicles and stuff like that, where you explore kind of the vast overall world through the eyes of different characters. Pretty neat stuff. And I don't think I've ever heard of Pied Piper doing anything else. Just had to read that first little part there. So I don't have a lot of these. These are really hard to find. You're never going to find them on accident. They're not accidentally going to be laying somewhere. And if they are, don't be stupid. Pick one up. These are great. For a 1986 book, these were $1.95, which was a lot in 86. As you can see, there's some clearly great cover work. The artist is just good. Plus, if you can see behind me, everybody's in tubes. You gotta love it when you have characters in tubes. This has all the great aspects of a post-apocalypse world. You got a lot of Mad Max qualities. You've got a lot of, I'm trying to think of the movie. Never even been to Mars, where there's mutants everywhere. Yeah, I'm drawing a total blank. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Everybody knows exactly what movie I'm talking about. I just can't recall it. Total Recall. That's why I can't remember it. Anyway, yeah, there's some Total Recall elements to it. Yeah, it's. But I'd say the thing that it probably reminds me of the most, other than it's not even like Fallout. It reminds me the most of James Axler's Deathland novels. It has a lot of similarities in that type of. It's the future, and it's a dystopian future, but it's also, there's a lot of tech, there's some sci-fi elements, there's definitely a lot of mutants, occasionally a joke, but mostly just a lot of gore and dying, which is what the Deathlands novels are all about. It is dying. Anyway, I wish I had more of these. They're just not a book that I can readily find, and it's one that I just wanted to show because I think there's a lot of people out there who just don't have any idea that it even exists. And if they did, I mean, that'd be one thing. But yeah, so everybody does, in fact, die. Basically, they're diseased. They can't go on. And they put them back in their tubes, in their chambers. To recook, and they're done. So that is a bummer. The book does go on though, because this is issue 4. We get issue 5. We meet the old team, and what we actually wind up with is a group called the New Humans, which is the opposite mix of male to female ratio, and they end up finding everybody, and I don't know if they're actually dead. Or they're just I wanted to say they were all dead. It's been so long since I've messed with this book. That guy with the cross eyes is bothering me. That is some great 80s hair. I think they tried to thaw them out, and I don't think it works. But I know in it's also this three-eyed mutant guy is the one who's bringing them back and trying to make them human again. And in the Malibu comics, it is a robot, Dr. Zygort or something like that. I can't remember his name. But it is definitely a weird series. It's definitely not your normal superhero stuff. Advertisements for Wonder Comics, Hero Alliance, that's pretty cool. And this is pretty much all I have. I've only got 3 issues. So if there's something that's that rare and I've only got 3 of them, they're rare. I'm always looking for this stuff. This is what I hunt for. This is why I collect comics, and these are hard to find. Extremely hard. I mean, you can always probably look them up on eBay and pay way more than you want to pay for them, but that's pretty much the gist. So I don't have more than that. It's Amazing Comics, Ex-Mutants. Definitely something to check out if you get the chance. That is my story. I will catch you guys later. Bye.